Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am in a different location. I am back in Accra. I didn't share this, but I was actually in Kenya for 2 months. I originally had planned to go for 3 weeks, but then I just ended up staying. And there's a couple of different reasons why, and I can get into that in another video. But today's video is all about things you should know before moving to Ghana. So, if you are thinking about moving to Ghana, one of the biggest things you should know is to be prepared financially. And I've said this in another video, but you need a lot more money than you think you need. And specifically, I'm referring to living in Accra. All of my videos are about living in Accra because I live in Accra. So, what I will say is that you need more than you think you need if you are used to a certain lifestyle. If you're used to a Western lifestyle and you want to have that familiarity, you're gonna need a lot more money than you think you need, because I find that to even get close to that, you are gonna be spending a lot more than you might have back home. And a big reason why I emphasize having more than you think you need is that often the cost of things fluctuate so rapidly, so it's hard to even plan, prepare, and budget because the price could be different one week versus the following week. So just have that in mind, to have more than you think you need. And honestly, I would say 3 to 4 times as much as you think. It's really based on your lifestyle and what you have access to. So for example, if you're not going to be renting an apartment or a house and you'll be staying with family, you might not need as much. But if you are planning to find a place to live in Accra and you want certain things that might be something very common for you back home, but they might be considered a luxury here, so you're going to be paying for that. So the next thing is, I think housing is a lot more challenging to secure here because you need to have a lot of money up front. There's a law that says it's only supposed to be up to 6 months, but often a lot of landlords are asking for 12 to 24 months or even more for your accommodation. So you're gonna have to have a chunk of money up front. And then I think one of the challenging things around housing here is once you give all your money and you have issues in the house, if you don't have a good landlord, you're on your own. So be prepared to spend some time looking around first, try out a couple different neighborhoods, things like that. I do have a relocation guide that is available that can direct you in terms of neighborhoods, in terms of costs, things to keep in mind. But in terms of actual relocation planning, I think there are consultants for that. It's just you can only plan so much as well. A lot of it is what you experience while you're here. And so just be prepared financially. That's a huge one here. Money does help you navigate a lot of the wahala, as they say. But yeah, I think just be prepared to have challenges around accommodation if you don't know someone, if you don't know the area, if you don't know the landlord. I hear this from a number of people where housing is always a nightmare. The thing is, even if you live in a really nice place, you're still gonna have to face things like not having water, having light off, possible flooding. A lot of people have been experiencing flooding even in nicer areas. So just prepare mentally for that. Prepare financially, but prepare mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all the ways, because Ghana will test you and it will stretch you and all of these things. But if you feel called to make the move, you can go for it. I did, and it hasn't been all rosy, but it's definitely been an experience that I'll cherish, and now I get to advise and help other people with making the same move. Oh, and there's also one thing that I want to clarify. I get some comments sometimes saying that, oh, why do foreigners think Accra will be cheap because it's in Africa? And that's not the case. Nobody's saying Africa should be cheap. But even comparatively to other cities, like other capital cities around the world, Accra is expensive. So not because it's Africa, it's just because it is expensive, and you don't necessarily always get the value that you think you're gonna get, or that you would think you would get with the price point. So that's a thing too, just to keep in mind, that even when you are paying more, you're not necessarily getting better value. If you are a diaspora moving to Accra, I highly recommend that you have a source of income from wherever you're from. So whatever currency you earn, whether it's like the Canadian dollar, the British pound. I think you should have a way of still earning foreign currency, because I think it's going to be challenging to adjust to earning cities if that's part of your plan. Because, for example, a good salary here is 5,000 cities, right? Which is equivalent to maybe 500. And if you still have expenses back home, like for example, I have a storage unit, I still have my phone plan, like all these things, that amount of money doesn't even cover those things, right? But it's a good salary here. So if you can still have some sort of, even if it's just a few $100s, I think it could really help you out and alleviate some of the financial pressure that you might experience with moving. For a lot of people, that's one of the main reasons why they leave. That's one of the reasons why I would leave too, actually, because the financial piece it affects everything else, right? Like your housing, your transportation, all of these things. And if you're used to earning a certain amount, and if you are used to things costing a certain amount but they change and you're not prepared for that, that can really hit you hard. Yeah. So that's another thing too. I feel like I'm talking a lot about finances, but it is a big deal. Another thing that I have been guilty of is saying that things don't work here. And I'm reframing the way that I talk about systems and structures, because it's not that they don't work. It's just a different system that I don't understand. And that doesn't necessarily work for me, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It works for people who get it, but just recognizing that there's not as many accountability structures. There's not necessarily documentation that you could read. There's not necessarily numbers that you can call to figure things out. You just have to work with the system as it exists now. And that's why having a good community is so critical here. Sometimes things will feel upside down and it won't make sense to you. And I don't even know where to give you an example from, but like customer service, it's like you're bothering someone to do their job, and it can be very frustrating, but it is what it is. Like, that's how it works here. Even things like transportation, as simple as trying to call an Uber, you have to go through so much back and forth with the driver sometimes about where to go, and they don't even want to take you there. So stuff like that, these types of things can feel frustrating, but it is a system that exists here, and it's something that you will have to adjust to or adapt to, I will say. And I guess this is my last point. One thing I will say that a lot of people have said to me about why maybe I didn't have such a seamless experience was because of the people that I've been around. And community here is so critical. Having the right people around you to guide you, to support you is so needed, because like I said earlier, it's really hard to navigate living here as someone without that background. And just knowing the right people to connect you to things, to be in your corner, to help you with day-to-day life is really important here. Because like I said, it's really hard to navigate because you can't necessarily Google stuff or call a number. You have to know this person who knows this person who knows this person, and knowing the right people can help you navigate Accra, living in Accra. And for me, I think it was a combination of things. First of all, just being so independent my whole life, and then coming here in an environment where I felt like I lost a lot of my autonomy because I had to engage with so many people to get certain things done. So that was hard. So there's a lot of resistance there. And I know that. And it's really tough. If you're someone who's like that, it's going to be challenging. Secondly, people are busy here. Like, people are hustling, trying to make money, trying to survive. So sometimes they don't have time for your problems. You need to have like person A through F, honestly. You need to have this person for this person for that, this person for this. And just know that, you know, people have other things that they are prioritizing, other things to do, so they can't always help you. But having a community with varied people to make the experience easier. Living here is not easy, but to help you with the experience. Yeah, so if you're used to being very independent, having that autonomy, it might be challenging here because you will have to get other people involved. Like, even something as simple as like, I need a plumber. I'm trying to find a plumber. it's not like there's a directory you can go on to. I have to ask this person, I have to ask this person, because then this plumber's not available, then you have to go to this person. Whereas like back home, what I would do is just Google. I would have hundreds of options. Whereas here, and it's not a bad thing, it's just something to adapt to, where I personally had a lot of resistance, and I recognize that now, almost 9 months in. I can't believe I've been here for 9 months. But all of these things are part of the move, part of the experience. And as someone who has done it, I think there are a lot of challenges, but a lot of rewards as well. And I'll definitely make a video about that, because everyone's always like, what about the positives? What about the positives? There are positives, but there's a lot of challenges, and I want to prepare you. But overall, if you want to make the move, just prepare yourself, take your time. Oh, that's another thing. I think one of my biggest takeaways is maybe move gradually, because if you move gradually, you can do things like figure out your housing, maybe start your business, build your community. You can start those things gradually, so that when you are relocating, which is already such a big task to take on, just mentally, physically, spiritually, all of these things, at least you have those things already there, so that it's not another thing that you have to deal with. So move gradually. I think other people might advise you otherwise, but as someone who didn't, I could see how making the move gradually could be very beneficial. So I think that is it for today's video. I hope this was helpful. These are some of the lessons learned from this move. I can go into more depth with a specific breakdown of everything maybe I would do differently, if that would be helpful. Anyways, if you need more support, I do have a relocation guide available. It's a very detailed guide of things that you should consider when making the move. It is in the link in my bio, and hopefully that will help you. If you have any specific questions or videos that you would like me to make, let me know. I am happy to help, and I will see you in the next one.